thank you for coming out. If you could kind of notice from the music and the items on your table, this is going to be about building something together. And to kick it off, I have our Vice President of the School Board, Eugene Gatewood.
Good evening. We can do better than that. Good evening, everyone. Thank you. Oh, we still out. Oh, I'm sorry. I would like to call this meeting to order. Yes, we do. I would like to call to order the Oswego Community Unit School District Board of Education meeting. Can I get a roll call, please? Well, I guess we do have this.
Here. Mr. Gatewood.
Here.
Ms. Thompson. Here. Dr. Murillo. Mr. Blow. Ms. Simulton. Ms. Benman.
Can we all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. This is a time of new beginnings for our district, and we're very, very excited because it's a time that we can build. We value this opportunity for us to come together as a community to find common ground so that we can make sure that our schools and our community are better for the sakes of our children. Tonight, we will have a chance for each person to be heard, and collectively we'll lay the foundation of trust upon which more good work can continue to happen in our district. I would now like to introduce our new and wonderful, no longer new, Superintendent, Dr. Kilgotti. Thank you.
Thank you, Eugene. Good evening, everyone. I think it's a sign of a healthy community when the board prioritizes planning to engage your voices in a formal manner. It's really an exciting venture when I came into the district to hear about these public forums as an opportunity to go outside of the typical formulaic approach to what I would say management of the district, to create a way to develop more engagement, to hear more voices around the table, and to really give people a chance to speak to what's on their hearts. And so one of the things that I heard, in a few minutes I'm going to invite Faith Dahlquist to lead you through this evening, is she shared with me some of the good work from last year and some of the way in which there was some engagement that led to some development and thinking. And so tonight you have a chance to do that again. And for those of you joining us online, welcome to the process. One of the things that you're going to focus on tonight is really looking at some of the data, and you're going to hear more about the specific data. Every year, the Illinois State Board of Education has required us now to move towards something called the 5 Essentials Survey. This survey is rooted in really 20 plus years of research around what are the factors, what are the things that make schools hum to success, particularly towards achievement for all students. And when we say all students, we mean every single child in every single building in this district. What are those factors? When you look at 2 different schools, what makes a difference? Is it parent involvement? Is it ambitious and rigorous instruction? Is it a supportive learning environment? Is it involved families? Is it collaborative teachers? Is it effective leaders who prioritize the needs and the creation of a successful building? Guess what? The research said that if a school is achieving, in terms of the survey result, in 3 of those 5, it's going to be moving more towards progress and success for students. And we want to hit all 5 in every school. So this 5 essential research is really the bedrock for the conversation tonight. So this survey happens every year. You probably fill it out. You may rush through it. Regardless of how it's administered, the perceptive data gives us an opportunity to go deeper. See, if we take that data and we just live it at a surface level, we don't get a chance to go deeper. And so what we want to do today is, we've heard your voices as parents on that survey. You've said some things. We want to go deeper. We want to understand, what does that actually mean for you? And in the process, you have an opportunity to speak to other issues that may be on your hearts, but we really want to center it around this opportunity to say, we've heard your voices around the 5 essentials. Now let's go and let's figure out, what does it mean to start to envision? What does success look like for our district? What do those things that we are hoping for, what does it look like to make them reality? And name some of those specific things, hopefully tonight, like improved transportation. Maybe that's one thing. Buses are on time. So those are some specific things that you'll have a chance. So I'm going to invite Faith, who's led and planning this evening, and I want to thank you for your collaboration. We also have this evening at your tables members of our leadership team from various departments across the district. So you are joined by both family members, community members, but also members of our executive leadership team who are really on the front lines of this work, and I want to thank them for coming this evening as well.
Thank you so much, Dr. Calgatti. One of my favorite quotes. Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has. And we're going to do some of that tonight. The group is mighty, and we're going to collaborate. We're going to work on building together some ideas for more community engagement, more ways to hear voices, and we really, really value this. So I'm not going to take up much of your time of talking, because it's much more important that the time of talking and listening is happening at the tables. So tonight we're going to build together a better place for our students. And if you look at that bottom Lego over there, that's culture. And there's a quote by Peter Drucker that says, "Culture eats strategy for breakfast." So we can talk about all the strategies that we're going to do, but if we can't have a culture of trust and a culture of communication, it falls short. So tonight, we're really going to work on that culture and that part of engagement. And community engagement is not just us talking at you and sending things home. That engagement is also hearing student voices, our community voices, and then working together towards solutions. So as Dr. Calgatti said, we have 5 essentials. One way that we measure our culture and climate is this annual state survey. He talked about effective leaders, collaborative teachers, supportive environment, ambitious instruction. We're really going to focus in that last area around involved families and involved community members. And we've got some questions at the table that we're going to go through. There are folders for facilitator guides, board members, and executive leadership team members. They're going to go through some introductions, and you can kind of paste that at by yourselves. Then go to activities. And indeed, we are going to change the world one small group at a time. You're going to work through those activities. We'll be circulating, making sure that everybody's on track. And then at 7:55, we're going to ask that there's a spokesperson from your group so that the whole room can share some of your ideas and some of the passion that you brought to this evening. I'm going to bring that back to the quote. The facilitator guides, they're in the folders. The first thing that you need to do is have introductions, and there's a prompt in there. Go ahead, facilitators, and start with introductions. I'm going to interrupt for just a moment. Wow, you guys are great. That was awesome. So what I want to make sure, now that you know people's names, you've done some things at the table so that you know roles, is to really dig in, be vulnerable, be authentic, talk about the things that you know are going to make us better, talk about obstacles that we need to move out of the way. There are 2 sets of questions in each of the folders that may help with that. But now that you've gotten to know each other a little better, we really want you to get real with one another, because that's the only way that we're going to make lasting improvements. That's how we're going to build. So I encourage you to take this opportunity to talk with one another, admire the district from each other's perspectives, talk about your concerns from each other's perspectives. It's only by building together and laying a trusting foundation, which starts here in this room, on what's already out there, and builds toward better improvements. So dive in and continue to work on that. I think Dr. Kilgatti?
The questions are really meant to help support the anchoring of the data, take you deeper, right? So use these to guide you into those vulnerable places. Thank you.
Thank you.
No. I'm going to get signal.
So I'm here with our facilitator for the evening, Faith Dahlquist, is going to read to you online a few of the questions and prompts that folks in the small groups are discussing. Thank you, Faith. This is Dr. Kilgatti speaking.
All right, thank you, Dr. Kilgatti. So for those of you who are tuning in, this is a night of building, and we are working with different community members, board members, and also members of the district administration to really open up communication and to build a better place together for our students. We talked about the 5 essentials, which is one of the tools that we use from the state to measure our culture and climate. And now people are working in groups around the discussion questions. Questions such as, teachers and parents at the school think of each other as partners in educating children. How do we partner to create and model more avenues? And then also, what are obstacles for this, and then how we can remove them. Another thought-provoking question that is at the tables is another statement from 5 Essentials, is teachers feel respected by the parents of the students. We're wanting more ideas how we can collectively partner to build this to be stronger, and also what obstacles there are now that we could remove. Another question that we're looking at is also from 5 Essentials, the statement, parents support teachers' teaching efforts. Again, we're working together on how we can partner to strengthen this and what obstacles we could remove. A fourth question at the table is, parents do their best to help their children learn. Again, how do we partner to design ways to improve that? What obstacles could be removed? And then the last question that tables are exploring is the statement, staff at this school work hard to build trusting relationships with parents. How do we partner to fortify that? And again, what obstacles? And they're working in groups right now until 7:55. And then we're going to have spokespersons from each group that will have the mic, so you'll be able to hear some of the discussion items. And then we will wrap up with each of us building a commitment to what we can do to support our climate. Thanks for tuning in. take about 1 minute to make sure you have your spokesperson and they're feeling prepared to share out with the group. You got about 1 minute. All right, let's pull back together. We are eager. We're really eager to hear all of the great ideas and collaboration. We even have a few people that have joined us at home and are listening in. So what we'd like to do, and each table is going to get their turn, but I'm going to be Oprah and I'm going to bring the mic around and let you speak so that everybody at home can hear as well. And we are going to then generate some ideas, and I want you to be thinking as you listen about what's something that you as an individual can do to help support the work. Do I have a brave table that would like to go first? All right, of course it would be our students that would volunteer.
Okay. My name's Isabel, and I'm a junior at Oswego East. And a big thing we talked about was just accessibility for different parents, how we can make things accessible, how some parents still want paper copies, how not everything should be emailed because everything kind of gets lost, especially if you have kids at different schools. Then you're getting double, triple the emails, and it's just very hard for people to manage. We talked about like language barriers and how we need to understand that not everyone is going to have the same access to childcare or internet, or how we can handle, we can't always expect students to have everything online because some parents don't have technology at home. We have multiple Title I schools in our district. It's not foreign, even if it feels like it, if you're in a different area of the district. So making sure we have opportunities for that, and how we can also create a good balance because students and teachers are then expected to kind of be on 24/7, checking their email, going through Google Classroom all day. And then just how we can make sure parents still have a communication even when their kids graduate elementary, you know, being able to give students the opportunity to kind of grow and be independent, but also communicating with them and making sure there's ways like for parent-teacher conferences, making sure every student can get in, or I mean, every parent can get into a teacher, even if that takes some, you know, maneuvering and managing. Or we talked about how Luke didn't know that he didn't have the credits to graduate until this year, and he's a senior after his counselor told him he was fine. So like how we overload certain people, or how there's just not enough communication.
Yeah, the only thing I will say is we talked a lot about understanding that every family looks different, and how the district needs to work with families, whether they're a third shift family or a single parent family, and looking at equity across all of those things, language, caretaking, et cetera. We talked a lot about parents want to be involved, and you hear a lot, oh, well, parents don't care because they can't be a part of the PTO, yet that family can't come during those hours because there's no daycare or they have a kid with disabilities at home that cannot be transported, or their third shift work or second shift work. So we talked a lot about ways that we can connect all families through the kind of the low-hanging fruit of that.
Thank you. Connectedness, accessibility. I want to teach you engagement, a cheer that we do, and we're going to do 3 different kinds tonight, but we really want to give kudos for the table that went first, so I'm going to teach you the whoosh, okay? It goes like this. Whoosh. All right, ready? Ah! It would help the facilitator if she did it correctly, so here we go. Whoosh. You just served 3 whooshes. Well, Sparkle's coming next. I wasn't going to do Sparkle table for Jadon. All right. Very, very good. I also saw, if you're like me, you're trying to climb in with your nonverbals. So I want to teach you something that we use in our classrooms that's engagement language. So if somebody says something that you really agree with, you can be like, oh yeah, right there. I'm there with you, right? Or if you're like, mind blown, I never thought about that. Then I'll know that that was a new thought that people really went with. We also do things like, could you stretch it out? I want to build on that. But it'll really help me be able to read the room, and you can engage too, that if somebody says something that you really identify with, give them a, like this. All right. So, second table. Hang tight. It's like this. There we go. Second table. Another volunteer. All right, thank you.
All right, I just want to say like what she said, but that's not a good probably answer anyone's looking for. Right, that's what I'm not going last, and you have to come up with something original. All right, so we talked about just that we think everybody wants to be involved, everybody needs to be involved. They know that, but what that looks like for different people needs to be respected. And we just talked about how there's, what I'm capable of doing versus what someone else is capable of doing, just as all different, all across the board. Like, I know I'm never getting into the classrooms during the middle of the day. Like, that is not happening. I'm at work. It's just never going to happen. It's not because I don't care about teaching and learning and kids growing. It's because my family needs to eat. It's kind of important to us, right? Like, just a little bit. So we talked about just some of the different barriers that are stopping people from having that strong relationship with teachers. And one of the things we talked about is that our teachers are asked to do a lot. And everything that, every extra thing we're asking them to do just adds more to their plate when their plates are already feeling really full. We know that. We know there's a teacher shortage. So we need to do everything we can to keep them feeling supported. So it's kind of finding a balance between how we can support our families, but also how we can support the kids who are in front of, or the adults who are in front of our kids all day. Is that enough, group? Are we okay with that? We also talked about the different communication piece, how different people need different things, and it's about building trust. I'm gonna stop there.
All right, thank you. All right, now I'm gonna teach you Jadon's favorite. It's the sparkler. Okay, so you do this. Or you sprinkle, that works too. Thank you so much. Talked about really partnering with teachers, knowing that they're really busy, talking about communication. All of those things are important. Do I have a next table?
Yeah.
All right, Tyler, another.
Hi, I'm Tyler Becker. I'm a senior at Oswego East High School. We actually had a lot of similarities as the first two tables, but we spent a lot of time on communication and how that looks different depending on who you're communicating with and different demographics and different groups within our district, as well as building trust within that communication. One of our table members brought up a good idea about building like strong relationships with like different community members and having like a touch point at every school to really build that community, and then making sure that that community that information is accessible to all parties. And we spent a lot on making sure that the communication felt authentic, it was important, and that people had access to it at every point and had courtesies when it came to like hearing about something late or needing to be involved in a certain program. I think it was very productive. Anything else you guys want to add?
All right. Great job on connectedness. Sometimes in the classrooms, we do just one single clap. The key is if we're all on the same length and we're all connected, we do it together at exactly the same time. You're getting nervous already, aren't you? Okay. We're going to clap. 1, 2, 3. Really, really close. Let's do it one more time. 1, 2, 3. Woo! All right. Very good. Another table. All right.
Full disclosure, I was elected spokesperson. All right. Let's see. We talked about a lot of stuff, but I'll start with the question that we came up with at the end, which was how do we make parents want to come to school, not feel obligated to come to school? So that was the ending question, and I had brilliant people at my table who came up with that. Nice work, brilliant people. As far as empathy, we talked about a chance to better understand and relate. World's getting more diverse around us, right? Focusing on learning isn't enough. We also have to build relationships, right? So not just the mind, but also the heart kind of theme there. We talked about some experiences that we've had in schools from educator standpoint, parent, sometimes both, right? And the need for respect and dignity in the classroom, and that we have to model what is expected. I gave the example that for my 11th and 12th graders, we had a discussion about phones, and I was willing to have this courageous, uncomfortable conversation where I said, hey, I got news for you. My 11th and 12th graders, they're telling me, oh, so don't do what you all do, adults. And so they were pointing the finger back at us saying, hey, we just notice how much you're on your phone too. Which got us into tech, which can be in the way of collaboration, and how to reinforce those school expectations. Lily brought up EL is offering psychologists, you said?
They offer a talk and for parents to come, and he helps with the parenting aspect of how to help your child understand how to maneuver, for example, the technology in this time. As a parent, as your role as a parent and as a and your child. But he's been amazing. A lot of the parents love coming to this because they want to learn. They want to know how to be a better parent and how to help their child. But that's one of the things that the district has offered for the EL families.
Thank you very much, Lily. We can't assume everyone knows what to do, where their skill level is. We're all at different skill levels, to say the least. I could sit up here and tell you about lack of skills that I have in certain areas for sure. So that's what we're here. We're here to learn from each other, right? Community. And without trust, you can't build that foundation, right? So you have to have the trust in order to do that. We need to be ready to accept growth. I like that one. No, it wasn't mine. Need to change as we navigate as a community. And every interaction is an opportunity, right? It's an opportunity to engage, find out what is needed. And particularly, we focused on every engagement with parents, right? Interaction kind of led us to that last question. And then finally, the people we experience as we interact upward, they may shape if we are at our best, right? We talked about how many came in here and had a little bit of anxiety tonight, and we did talk about how many are in here and so forth. And to your point, right? Like we have these other worlds that we are committed to as well. So we have to also understand that piece as well. So I think that sums it up, group. How'd I do? Anyone want? All right.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Let's do one clap again for that table of affirmation. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Oh, you guys are good. Excellent. Over here. All right.
I know. I wrote themes. So one of our first themes was consistency. There's not a lot of consistency with the district and what schools are doing. And so that was one. Another one was wellness. Parents are burnt out, teachers are burnt out. How do we meet everybody where they're at? And so that was another theme. And physically meeting parents where they're at. Like, there are barriers, physical barriers, and so inviting parents to come to certain places may not meet them where they're at, and we may need to go to them. Maybe it's their house, maybe it's a coffee area or somewhere. And also innovation. We are constantly asking our students and teachers to change. We need to start changing different things and how we bring parents in. And so we talked a lot about potential parent academies or changing curriculum nights to doing something like showcasing students and having students talk about their work and to connect people. And so the last one is systems change, restructure. It's a big deal. We are out of the pandemic, but we need to make some changes to catch up with the times. And I'm going to use your quote. Made it. She said that families are experts of their own family. They don't have all the answers. And so we need to keep that in mind when we are developing these new partnerships.
Love the quote. That was really, really great on how we do that. So let's do another sparkler for that table. Excellent. And who is the spokesperson here? All right.
I was appointed to be able to be the spokesperson for our group, and we had empathy as our word. And really, a lot of what the conversation was and what I took away from it was that there are a lot of barriers that are competing for our time and our ability to empathize. And when we're stressed, when we're overburdened, oftentimes empathy is one of the first things to go. So a lot of our conversation was, what are some of those barriers to having that authentic communication that allows empathy to flow that we could have, whether that's looking at transportation, childcare, how to be able to have clear ways of communication so people know what to expect and how to expect it. Because if all of your attention's focused in one direction, it's really easy to get blindsided from another direction. And so that was a lot of what our conversation was at the table.
All right. And the last group's going to get a power whoosh. So here we go. Excellent. So many people having varying degrees of connectedness about what we talked about. We anchored our discussion tonight in our 6 core values, and you could feel how it shaped the conversations. And when we draw each other together around those values and center, what are we doing for each unique student or each unique family, and yet coming together at what can hold us together as a system, is when we hit that great spot where we're able to individualize but still find unity and find common purpose. And sometimes that tugs on each other. So we need to hear different voices and be able to react and change. What I want you to spend 10 seconds in silence thinking about this. What did you hear tonight that you can either use to shape your own behavior, or that you can go help someone else know about what happened tonight, and to build with these 6 core values to bring them into what we created? So it's literally 10 seconds. Just reflect on tonight. Thank you very much for coming. This is not one and done, that this is over and now we've solved all the world's problems. This is beginning to build a foundation and a partnership for us to continue to move to meet the needs of all of our families. Do you have any closing comments? Great. And then after Dr. Kilgatti, we'll turn it over to board comments.
Let's thank Faith Dahlquist for facilitating us this evening. And also, let's thank our Board of Education for their vision in making sure that this practice continues. You know, they get paid a lot for this gig. I'm just kidding. it's thousands of thankless hours, and we know that it's a labor of love, because behind every mission are children. When I started in the district, this theme of how are the children was really important to me and central to me, because it became a way, when I listened to voices of folks in the community, the thing that I kept hearing was division. We were a divided community. Let's just be honest. We're a divided community. And the thing that I know is that what can bring us together is the fact that we all want to center our children. And we want all of us to find excellence for our children. The second thing I learned as I entered the district was there was an opportunity, I'm going to call it that, for really identifying and learning from each other, and that values, when you look at all the research out there, values are a bridge for us. They're a bridge to learn about each other, but also to center the excellence we need to have in our work. We are pursuing educational and organizational excellence. Are we there yet? Not by a long shot. Do we have a strong foundation? I believe we do, because there's a commitment, there's a passion. Your feedback tonight will help us in organizing ourselves, and as we can begin to deepen our understanding of what the root causes of challenges are, you've given us more to think about. And as Faith said, this is just the beginning. So those of you listening online, we want to thank you. This week we have our Superintendent's Advisory Group. We have a Superintendent's Insight Group. You have opportunities with your school principals. There are board committees, your local community organizing groups. I want to invite you to participate. And last, tonight we have a special guest, Mr. Mike O'Neill, who's visiting us. He's a executive director for a Parent University initiative that's really happening across the country. And so we invited him to hear and to learn and see if there's an opportunity for shared learning together. So with that, I'm going to, Jadon. And tomorrow night, please tune in and join us. Equity Teaching and Learning Committee meets tomorrow night at the district office at 5 o'clock. So it is posted online, so please tune in. I'm going to hand it over to our board president.
Thank you. So this 6.1 is comment test. Board. Sure, public. Second. It's been. Aye. All right, motion passes 6-0. Test. Now we're doing public comment. So on behalf of the Board of Education, I would like to thank the public for attending testing. Public attending tonight's meeting. Is that mic off? We just have to turn that one. Thank you, sir. Test. On behalf of the Board of Education, I would like to thank the public for attending tonight's meeting. We value the feedback we receive from our members of the public and encourage everyone to take an active interest in their public school system. Members of the public interested in speaking to the board this evening were asked to complete a comment card and present it to the secretary of the board. When the secretary calls your name, I ask that you please come to the microphone, and I'll come up front, I guess. Come to the microphone, and I ask you to come to the microphone, state your name for public record, and provide your feedback. Please note that comments are limited to 3 minutes per person, and that no discussion of personnel matters, stating staff names, or responding to your questions are permitted. The board does not participate in discussion during public comment. Follow-up on your questions or concerns will be addressed by administration through the contact information provided on the comment card. Ursula? Courtney McTurner.
Hi, good evening. My name is Courtney McTurner, and I just wanted to thank you all for this opportunity to be able to speak tonight and to share a few thoughts I had. I am speaking as a parent of both a Girl Scout and 2 Cub Scouts. And recently, we had received an email notifying us of some SD308 facility rental changes. Previously, we were able to meet for our PAC meetings, our DEN meetings, troop meetings within the school's cafeteria and gym, and the email notified us of some changes to that that we'd be charged moving forward. I now understand that there was an update made, and we'll be able to continue having our meetings through July of 2024. As we move forward, I just would like everyone to consider that we keep having the opportunity to reserve meeting space for free. I think if you want to get more parents involved and engage with the schools, this is one way to do it. I think charging, and I don't know the rationale, so I would love to know a little bit more about why that decision was made, but would like for consideration to be made to continue nonprofit organizations to meet in school spaces free of charge. I know parents take effort to make sure we clean up after ourselves. I think if we're asking for students to give back to the community and to be a part of the community, that enabling them to meet in those spaces to make those efforts realized would be wonderful. So thank you.
Hi, my name is Jessica, and I'm speaking as a parent of 2 children in the district, a 6th grader at Plank and a 4th grader at Boulder Hill. So as an extremely involved parent, I would like to thank our new superintendent and the board for this opportunity to have this dialogue and to come together more often. One brain thinks one way, multiple brains think even better. So I wanted to say thank you. I would love to see this type of opportunity for our EL families in Spanish. I would love to see that. One thing that I am curious and would like to have more information is, once we brainstorm and we talk and we bring things to light, who will take charge on making sure that whatever we are promised happens? One of the things that was talked about at Plank was a consultant that was hired to look into something, and that's happening at that school. So how will we know what progress is happening? Like, okay, we had that meeting, now where do we go from there? So that would be something that I would like to find out, who we can reach out to, how we can get more information, how we have that information available to the community. And then the last one is, again, as a parent that's very involved, I would like to create and like, if I don't have enough things already doing on the board for this district, but I would like to take the lead on how I can help specifically our EL community in our school. My kids are, like I said, at Boulder Hill, one of them, and we're a Title I school, and we need to create more ways. So can we hire a consultant, or can we come together to think about how can we create more ways for parents to be more involved with their day-to-day commitment between their children's education, the administration, the parents, and the teachers. We all have to be in sync together to do great things for our kids. So we need to brainstorm and actually do something about how can we bring those things to light and to pass for our students, and specifically for our EL families. Sorry, I have to always advocate for them. So thank you.
Thank you. If there's anyone who would like to make a public comment but did not fill out a public comment card, you can see Ursula and she can get one to you.
Phil Torres.
Good evening, everybody. I'll try to be brief. I'm not used to this format. I was at the one in the spring where we got to sit down and kind of ask questions to people before. Not saying there's anything wrong with that, but some concerns or questions we have is the fast bridge testing. We have a first grader who scored well below averages on that. But when we went to parent-teacher conferences, she knows all her sight words, knows everything. In my brief research on FastBridge, faster is not better. The first time first graders are touching a laptop, they're being tested, and the teacher can't do anything or help them other than like push this button maybe. I don't know if that's really gauging what kids know. And I don't know if that's a good use of money, because I know we always talk about money in Oswego 308. I don't know if that's the best way to gauge what kids know. A timed fast test. My kid takes a little bit longer to think. She knows the answers, but I don't think that was very reflective. And then what do we use with that data moving forward? I'm a little confused. I would be remiss if I don't mention the Hunt Club elementary school parking lot for my wife and all her fellow moms. If we can get that resurfaced or something, there's some pretty big potholes in there. Leading into a facility plan for the district. I have a first grader, but Oswego 308 doesn't have turf fields. They're using other schools' facilities during the year because they don't have the right facilities. A building plan isn't probably to reconstruct a track during the school year. Doing tennis courts both times over the summer so tennis can't participate all summer. Building some sort of facility plan for that. Obviously, it's not going to be fixed overnight, but seeing a 5-10 year plan in place would be awesome for that. I also mentioned that the last time I was here, the athletic fees, $300 a sport, is beyond the extreme in neighboring districts. I know it doesn't begin to cover the cost of athletics, but when you are telling families they have to pay almost $1,000 for a kid to play 3 sports in high school, that is exhaustive. If you have multiple kids in high school, you're talking about $2,000, $3,000 before they even get the gear package. That's another $150 or $200. You're going to put coaches and ADs in a dicey situation because I just paid $500 and now my kid's not playing. That's not an easy conversation for the coaches and ADs to have when parents are shelling out that much money. And then I would like some dual language alternatives. My kid, unfortunately, was in a popular year where there were 20 people that didn't make the dual language program. There's a need, there's a want. The kids are in their building anyways. Is there anything that we can, we're in a dual language society. How are we not offering dual language to those who want it? Because it's only, if you talk about these college flags and the workplace, that is only gonna make them more attractive to employers regardless of what path they choose. So unfortunately, my grandfather was an immigrant from Mexico. Him and his 4 brothers joined the army to get their papers to be legalized citizens. They were a different time. We're all American. They did not pass it down to my dad, his siblings, or anything. I don't want my kid to miss out that opportunity because of the way society was back when my grandpa came to this country. Thank you.
Sulukana.
Oh, you got it.
Hello. Good evening, dear board members and parents and citizens of Oswego School District. My name is Sulochana. I am a parent from the Wheatlands Elementary. My son is a 3rd grader And I am also come today to represent Cub Scout Pack 712. So we are a pack serving the Wheatlands Elementary, the Homestead Elementary, and primarily with other schools nearby. So most of our pack and den meetings are held in the elementary schools, gym and cafeteria, and it's like twice or thrice a month. Recently we had an email letting us know that there's going to be charges for using the gym and the cafeteria per hour. This thing I just wanted to let you know that it would be something that we have to take into concern, because you know Cub Scouts are like voluntary non-profit organizations that are serving the children of the community, of the school, which enriches the students, teaches moral values, teaches courteousness, teaches patriotism, and all good values to become a better citizen of the country. So if this kind of charges, if we are like given charge, if we need to pay charges, that would eventually raise the dues that the Cub Scouts have to pay to us, like to the Cub Scout pack, which will discourage parents and the parents and families joining them in the pack. So as a scout, there are a lot of numerous benefits a student can achieve from scouting. Like, as all of you know, like a recent, I also had did some study about it, and came to know that scouting is much necessary in today's time period, where now kids are like always engaged in laptops and gadgets. Scouting is the best way for the kids to have to learn some essential life skills and core moral values. So this is one of, as a pack, from the pack, our request is to at least exempt these non-profit nurturing communities like the Cub Scouts to be exempt from these charges, so that this can continue, this good thing that is happening for the community can continue its good work. So thank you. So this is what.
Diana Cavillo.
Good evening, everybody. Public speaking, it's the worst for me, so bear with me. Thank you all who put together this event. I'm really, I'm someone who has hope and faith that good things are coming, so I'm really grateful for this. I really hope this is the first step, and what do we do now? What is our action call? I hope we had some really great conversations at our tables, and I really hope something's going to come out of this, and not just talk, but what is the next step? So now what do we need? I'm also here to advocate for ELDL families. I am a parent of 3 students in a dual language program, 4th, 6th, and 8th grade. I'm also a BPAC member, and I'm also a 2nd grade dual language teacher. So I am very involved in all areas of our program, and I love it. I love being in the community. I love listening to families. I love listening to their struggles, their successes, and I'm here to advocate for them. One thing that I wanted to point out is our 8th grade dual language situation that we had this year. That cohort has not had a teacher since August. They have had several teachers for the past yeah, 3 months. And it has been a pretty traumatic experience for all. For students, for parents, for teachers, for the entire building. I'm also here to ask for support for dual language staff members. We need more professional development that's focused in dual language education. We need the support from admin to see that that is a priority so we can educate our students. And also to talk about expanding the program. We know that we are at our seams in every building. We need to talk about how we can expand the program and how we can offer it to more families. And how, not just expanding it, but how can we sustain it and actually be prepared to expand that to other buildings. My daughter, a few weeks ago, she spoke at a board meeting and she asked the question of how are the children? And I quote to my daughter, she said, "We are not well." There's a statistic that 1 in every 4 students will be EL by 2024. That's something we will not change. That is a fact. Are we prepared? So what does support look like for our dual language program for our EL learners? And where are our priorities? Thank you.
Rochelle Koenig.
Good evening. My name is Rochelle Koenig, parent in the district. I have 2 kids, both at OHS. Sorry, I said that right. A freshman and a sophomore. First of all, I want to thank the board and the school administrators, everybody who was here who put this on. Faith. This was a great session. Love to do more of these. I think they're really wonderful. I'm going to echo what a lot of the people said, which is would love to see what you as an administration take from this, what you're planning to do with this based on the 5 essentials and what we talked about here, and even engage us again to talk more about, you know, here's what we heard, what do you think, what do we need to do next? So pull us in. A lot of us would love to be part of that conversation, and that way you don't have to do too much. You can, because you're doing a lot. So next steps is really important. I also wanted to point out that there's an opportunity, I think, beyond just the home and school boards. I think there's a lot of us in the community who have really good faith in communicating and distributing information, and I think it would be helpful for the district to engage some of us to be your ambassadors. Outside of the formal structures is there are people who don't go to home and school meetings, or they don't necessarily go to lots of different information spaces, but they do have good friends, or they are in a circle of people. And so how can you lean into us to help get some of this information out and also get some of this feedback? Because I think there's a real opportunity there. And then lastly, this is just kind of an odd kind of happenstance, I'm just checking time here, is tutors. So both my children are not in the dual language program, which I am kicking myself for, because I agree that they're gonna need to know how to speak Spanish in 10 years. And so far, both of them sound kind of like broken Spanish. It's a little embarrassing, but not as bad as when I try and speak Spanish. But tutors. So I've been trying to find a tutor for them. And then I had another friend who asked about a tutor for pre-calculus and so forth. And the big push has been talk to the teacher. And the thing is, the teachers have enough to do other than go and find and be, you know, matchmaker for tutors for us. So how can the district set up a tutor like resource, almost like, you know, kind of how can we find a tutor that works for our kids and is available and that sort of thing for whatever it is that they're doing. That's all I got. I could talk forever, but I only have 15 seconds.
Ashley Shop. Oh, no.
Thank you. I don't think I'm going to take up the 3 minutes, but I guess I have 2 daughters, or 3 daughters, 2 twins that are Boulder Hill, 2nd grade, and then Oswego High School, I have a junior. Their father's here today. We've been having some issues with the school not having enough activities for our kids. We seem like, especially for the younger grades, we're wanting some more extra activities for them. You know, they learn, they come home, and it is expensive. It's quite expensive, but when you go through the school, it makes it a little bit easier. So we're wanting to bring some of that back. We also want to bring, we're hoping that one day we can get back, you know, daddy-daughter dances, donuts with dad, different things that we had growing up. As she was saying something about the moral core values, we want to bring that back, and I think that was a big deal for us growing up as kids. And then with the communication with the teachers that we were discussing tonight, we were talking a lot about bringing it together, parents and teachers, kind of like what we're doing here tonight. I think it's important to have something like this for the parents and the teachers to come together like this and learn more about each other and get more comfortable with each other, because right now I don't think a lot of people feel comfortable. Maybe they can learn more of the Spanish-speaking employees at their schools and, you know, the English-speaking ones and stuff like that, so it's easier to communicate. I think that's it.
Okay, any board members have any comments?
No, I mean, just some of the things that I learned today. Need to clearly communicate in a way that we portray the what, why, and the how to all constituents, and openly accept feedback and dialogue. Be very eager to take ownership of failures, not just successes. I figured I have 2 kids that went through the dual language program, so I'm a huge advocate of it. There are issues. There's issues in all of our programs. We need to do a better job all across the board. But for anybody that is interested in their kids being bilingual, bicultural, and biliterate, definitely continue to look into the dual language program. It is a very strong program. Yes, we need to do better, but it's still great. So never once had a regret. Had a lot of battles, but it's a great thing. So.
Any other board member comments? 7.1, sorry.
I actually just want to share more with the administration, Dr. Kilgotti, and honor the community members that reached out to me today about this forum. And I think it was communicated very well what we were going to do in it, but our community has a long memory, as they should, and they are looking for areas where they can come up and speak that aren't necessarily public comment. So to everything that we shared tonight, allowing people to come and have more open dialogue back and forth, be able to ask board members questions and get feedback is something that I heard a lot about over the last couple of days, and specifically today. They made decisions not to come because it was very prescriptive. So just to make sure that I honored all that feedback that I got today. Thank you. But great job to everybody that put this on as well. Jared or Joe? Amy?
Yeah, so I just want to say thank you, first of all, and I'm not going to take up too much time because it's 8:45, but I really appreciate any time the community's coming out. I appreciate our administration being here, appreciate how many educators that we have here who are also playing roles as parents. And so I'm a teacher myself, so I'm going to give some homework. I apologize. All right, you ready? I'm sorry in advance. But as we hear from the community, the one thing that we are in agreement on, right, is the things that we need to do. And then the situations we're in, right? And so I will tell you that loud and clear, I have too many students that have heard. Yes, I will admit, I can't think of a single thing that's been taken off my plate as a teacher in the last, I don't know how many years, right? But I want to warn us a little bit because, yes, I would love to see us expand, a bilingual program. Multiple districts across the board are struggling finding staff. Whether it's EL, whether it's special education, whether it's some of our high service needs, they're struggling. And I want us to be very cautious and careful because our students are hearing us loud and clear. And what they hear is, oh, wow, I don't want to go into that field. Yes, you are correct. I remember when I ran for the board the first time, I was told I was crazy because I said our EL population is going to double. It's more than doubled, right? I have no doubt it's going to increase. Here's what should alarm us all. The people going into that field to teach is not keeping up. And, bless you, and salud. And what I will say to that is we have to be cognizant of how to work together because we really need each other. Because even if our individual student isn't necessarily impacted, think of the world they're going to be in. Right? I want both of my sons, I want my grandson to live in a safe world. That means we have to come together as a community. We've got to find a way. I applaud all of you because you have done that. And thank you from the bottom of my heart, honestly. And I'll be quiet because it's 8:45.
Dr. Meridio? Mary Jo? Thank you, everyone. Nothing else? Oh, you have something?
One more thing. On the tables, there are several sheets of paper that have a QR code, just with a few questions of kind of an exit slip of what did you like about tonight, what would be improved upon, and then also an opportunity if you had a question or a concern that you'd really like us to reach out to so we could have a conversation just on a specific topic, please complete that and one of the administrators will get back to you on that concern. Do you want to have closing comments? Okay, for everybody to stay during? For everybody to stay during? So you just got permission that if you want to complete the exit slip and go, that's fine. If you want to be here for the rest of the board meeting, that also is fine. But we want to give you a huge thank you for being vulnerable, coming out, speaking your mind. And again, this is just the first few steps. Laying a foundation, there's much more to build. So thanks, you can stay or you can go, but please complete the exit slip.
Yes, thank you. 8.1. Can I get a motion to approve the collective bargaining agreement for the OEA?
Here, hold on a second. Okay, why isn't it on here? Hold on. No, hold on a second. There it is. Okay, sorry about that. Make a motion to approve the negotiated agreement between Oswego Community Unit School District 308 and the Oswego Education Association, OEA, pending attorney approval.
Ms. Venmus, Dr. Murillo, Mr. Cerrone.
We had comment. I'm sorry. 1 second.
Oh,
It's
we
been
have
seconded.
comment.
You want to comment, though?
I'm also trying to get our board president who wanted to join for this momentous vote. So, you want to just hold that for a second? Yeah. Before we take the vote, I do want to appreciate any negotiation process between a labor organizing group and Board of Education and its management team. Oh, what is the OEA? Oswego. The teachers union. Thank you. So our teachers union and management team can require a lot of, it's a labor of love, perseverance, and commitment. And this evening, the vote you're about to hear is a ratification to approve the latest contract for our teachers union. This evening, we heard a lot about investments and about the future, and I really believe that this contract will provide a magnet to really both support the working conditions of our educators, but also bring them closer and attract them in terms of our competitiveness in the community. So I want to thank the Board of Education as well as Andrew and Faith for their leadership in this work.
All right, it's been moved and properly seconded.
Ms. Venmus, Dr. Maria, Mr. Cerrone.
I'm abstaining because not because of I don't like the contract. The contract's great, but my wife's a teacher, so I always said that I would abstain through the campaign and everything. Also in the campaign, I heard being more competitive. Everybody said that we need to be more competitive and you know, just treat our teachers well. So I think this contract does that, but I'm going to abstain.
Mr. Gatewood,
Aye.
Ms. Johnson, Mr. Ploger.
All right, the vote passes with 5 ayes and 1 abstention. Congratulations. All right, can I get a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
All in favor? All in favor? Meeting is